Myths are supposed to be stories, legends passed down through generations to explain the unexplainable. But what if some of those tales weren't fiction at all? What if ancient myths actually preserved real history? Today, we're revealing 5 ancient myths that turned out to be true, and how archaeologists proved it. For over 2,000 years, scholars believed the story of the Trojan War was pure fantasy, a poetic masterpiece by Homer, not history. But in the 1870s, German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann began excavating a hill called Hisarlik in modern Turkey. What he uncovered shocked the world. Ruins of multiple ancient cities, built one atop another, dating back nearly 5,000 years. Among the layers was evidence of fire and destruction, exactly as the myth described. Today, historians accept that Troy was a real city, and the Trojan War may have been based on real conflicts in the late Bronze Age. It's proof that sometimes even epic poetry hides a grain of truth. Ancient Greek historians once wrote about a great Egyptian port called Heracleion, where Cleopatra herself was crowned. But for over 1,000 years it was missing, dismissed as legend. Then in 2000, French archaeologist Frank Gaudiot discovered its ruins underwater, just off Egypt's northern coast. Dozens of statues, temple walls, and shipwrecks were found perfectly preserved beneath the mud. Experts believe an earthquake and rising seas swallowed the city around the 2nd century BC. Today, Heracleion is one of the best preserved underwater cities on Earth, and proof that some Atlantis stories had real roots in history. Flood myths appear almost everywhere, from the Bible story of Noah to the Epic of Gilgamesh in Mesopotamia, and even in Native American and Asian traditions. For centuries, scholars dismissed these as moral fables, but geological evidence now suggests ancient people may have witnessed real cataclysms. One theory points to the Black Sea flood around 5600 BC, when melting glaciers caused the Mediterranean to burst through a natural dam, flooding entire valleys and villages. Archaeologists have even found ancient shorelines and artifacts deep beneath the waves. So perhaps these flood myths aren't divine punishment stories, but the world's oldest eyewitness accounts of climate disaster. The ancient Greeks told stories of fearless female warriors called Amazons who lived far to the east and fought as fiercely as men. For centuries, historians assumed they were symbolic, an invention to challenge gender norms. But recent excavations in Russia, Ukraine, and Kazakhstan uncovered over 100 burial sites of Scythian women buried with bows, swords, and battle wounds. DNA evidence shows they weren't ceremonial. They were real warriors. Some were even buried side by side with men in combat graves. It turns out the Greeks may have exaggerated, but they didn't invent the Amazons. These women were the real-life inspiration behind the myth. According to Greek myth, King Minos built a labyrinth to contain a monstrous half-man, half-bull creature, the Minotaur. The story was long thought to be symbolic. Then in the early 1900s, archaeologist Sir Arthur Evans uncovered the vast palace of Knossos on the island of Crete, an enormous maze-like complex filled with twisting corridors and bull imagery. The Minoans even practiced bull-leaping rituals, where athletes vaulted over live bulls. Evans believed this inspired the legend, a myth built upon a cultural memory of real rituals and architecture. The Minotaur may never have lived, but its labyrinth absolutely did. From sunken cities to warrior queens, these discoveries prove one thing: ancient people weren't just telling stories. They were preserving history in the only way they knew how. Which myth do you think still hides a real-world secret waiting to be discovered? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more interesting stuff.